Well, welcome back, everybody, to a very exciting episode of Spitball Media Podcast. We're doing a weekly look and spin through all the top entertainment stories of the week. Of course, Shaheen is here. He's excited to spit. Shah, you ready to just spit it all out?
I'm ready to do something with the spit, man. No, that's exciting. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming out this week, so
There is.
We're going to be covering a lot of little topics here and there, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and of course, the king of the Midwest. He's the poorest man north of Richmond, Mr. Bish O'Brien.
Luckily, I've never had to make the decision to spit or swallow, but tonight it's all spit. So
we're going to
what's
spit.
up,
We're just
everybody?
going to spit right through it, Bisho. We're going to spit out all the good topics. If you're joining us for the first time, you don't get the full show. We're new to this YouTube thing. It's only like our fourth episode on YouTube. We've rebranded. We're having a fun time. And of course, we want you guys to check us out on Patreon. You need to go to patreon.com/break the app. You got hundreds of hours of backlogged entertainment covering everything under the sun. And it's just becoming a bigger, better value every week, isn't it, Shah?
Absolutely, man. I got an iced tea today for $3. So
$3. Was it warm?
$3. $3. Not even a fancy one. Just not some passion fruit tea with the seeds in there. Just some regular bullshit iced tea.
No boba? You didn't get a boba?
Yeah, nothing fancy. Just something you would get with a school lunch. Half gallon of it is $3 here.
School lunch, like the little ones.
Yeah, man, ones. It's ridiculous.
And of course, Bisho, you can't get a better value for that Patreon, can you?
No, people used to joke Arizona iced tea was still $1. I think it's like $24 at this point. So
no, they're still $1. They're the only ones keeping it real. Yeah, they're the only ones, dude. Yo, that's the only thing you can get it for $1 still.
Literally. And what's that water that nobody stole even during the riots in 2020? It's the one
Dasani. Nobody wants
Dasani. Yeah,
nobody wants Dasani.
Nobody wants Dasani.
It's piss water, man.
Well, you need to go to patreon.com/break the app. Now, Patreon people, we're throwing out a really fun idea we're going to try this weekend. Is it official, guys? We're going to be doing that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. So we should let them know. So if you join this weekend, you'll be very excited. We decided to do a theme show for the first time for the Patreon. We're going to be bringing in our favorite soundtracks of all time. Shah, that should be a fun conversation. A lot going on there.
Yeah, I actually got started collecting LPs, like movie soundtracks and shit. So I'm excited for this one because I
can't wait to hear yours. I'm excited to hear yours.
I might be able to show some of them off because I have. I have some of them.
Yeah, and that's in a Patreon exclusive B show. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was going to say, is it soundtracks? Is it like scores? Like what all qualifies?
I think you could bring a score in because if it wasn't for to me, because often the score is combined with the original music. So like a couple of things I have are both. Like they're gonna like I don't want to give away my list because my list is amazing, but it's music and like music inspired by and the original score, like soundtrack of Boogie Nights or some shit. You know what I mean? By the way, it's probably not the example I wanted to use, but because I do love that soundtrack. But yeah, we're going to be dropping that over the weekend at some point for you guys. So that'd be fun. And of course, you need to go to patreon.com/$5. Thank you so much to the returning champions. We genuinely appreciate it. And of course, we got, JT is in there. Look at that. JT, look at this. He just said I was going to request that a while back. Yeah, we're going to have a top 5. And of course, my brother Joe is in the house. Look at this. Joe is hanging out with us. That's pretty cool. Chris Matthews is there. Well, he's not watching the Baltimore Orioles run away with the East. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out in the Patreon. And of course, we'll be reading you. We'll be reading you through. We got a lot of little things, Shah. Don't we want to pick up on this week? Just a lot of small stories.
Yeah, some of the stuff are not even stories. They're more so just announcements and plugs for things that are available on different streaming sites that you can check out this week. So yeah, a lot of different things this week.
Yeah, a lot of small stuff. So I wanted to kick this week off because I did go to the movies this weekend again. And it was funny because when I was in the theater, I haven't talked to you guys about this at all. But when I was in the theater, I actually thought to myself, oh, wow, this movie's not doing well. That kind of sucks. But I didn't know it would be a lead entertainment story this week. So what am I talking about? This Saturday, I went and saw the Universal Studios movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's a vampire. It's taken from the Dracula novel. It's actually a chapter. It's based on a chapter out of the Dracula novel. And the big standout for this film is it's directed by the famous director who directed the one and only Troll Hunter. Now, Shah, you're a Troll Hunter fan, right?
I mean, I honestly would say it's probably in my top 3 found footage movies of all time.
Wow.
I mean,
Jesus,
honestly,
dude.
Blair Witch,
It's
that
amazing.
one.
Yeah. I don't know how do you pronounce his name, Shot, because he's got like a couple of things,
Yeah,
lines
is
with it.
it was he like an Eastern European guy?
Yeah, it's like his name is Andre
Andre Ovaries.
Overdahl. He's Norwegian. It's Norwegian, Shot.
Mm.
He's a Norwegian guy, but you're a big fan of that movie. I'm a huge fan. That came out in 2010. It's a Shot. Would you say that's almost a cult movie at this point?
Absolutely. Yeah. Is it the same guy that did the Santa Claus movie?
What? Yeah, what is that movie? B Show. We always talk about it around the holidays.
Rare
Something
exports.
Rare exports. Yeah.
No, he didn't do that.
Okay.
It's not the
I
same
always
guy.
mix
He
them
did
up.
the guys. He did the autopsy of Jane Doe, which is fantastic. If you
Yeah,
guys
that's a
haven't
good
seen
movie
it.
too.
B Show, you would really, really like that movie. B Show.
Yeah, I think
Have
that's
you
your
seen it?
type of movie. You would like it a lot.
100%.
All right.
Yeah, and he also did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I saw some of. I don't know if you guys ever checked it out. Did you see that, Shah?
I have it. I haven't seen it though. I heard really bad things about it, so I bought it. But I never seen it, which sounds stupid that I heard bad things about it and I still bought it, but I did. I didn't know he did Uma though.
He didn't direct it. I think he produced it. The director was Irish Shim for that. That's a very, by the way, that's a very culty, popular film.
Is it? Do you
But
think I would like that?
I caught it on cable, and I was like, shit, I wanted to go back and watch it. It's very, what drives that movie is the acting. That Uma movie,
Yeah.
it's the acting. It's like everybody in it is like an A-list kind of
Seems
performer.
slow.
Yeah, but it's got a good payoff, I think. B Show, are you familiar with the autopsy of Jane Doe?
It's one of those movies where I see on streaming services and I get interested, but I just never check it out for some reason.
It's fantastic. Shot. That's another. That's kind of a cult movie too. Wouldn't you say modern horror cult movie? Autopsy of Jane Doe.
I don't know about a cult movie. I think it's big enough not to be a cult movie, but that movie and The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Love that movie.
Two
Big
movies.
fan.
That one I've heard about. Yeah,
those were two
B Show,
movies.
You like
that,
it?
Yeah, those were two movies that really stood out to me when horror was really like dog shit. When
Yeah.
everything else was kinda, those are two movies that I thought at least gave us some hope. But yeah, until Hereditary came around, and then ever since then we've been getting good movies. I feel like.
Well, B Show, have you seen Troll Hunter?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's phenomenal. You would know if you see it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's such a oh my god, it's such a
fucking
weird movie.
phenomenal.
There's nothing like it.
I've never heard anyone shit on Troll Hunter in my life. It is like
Oh,
B Show.
this one?
Yeah, you've heard of this. This is the movie like where trolls actually really exist and like in Norway, but like people don't talk about it and they get caught on a camera. Like people actually, I'm underselling it, aren't I, Shah?
I mean, again, I think it's in my top 3 as
Sure, look
far
at
as found footage movies.
Look at that shit.
Wow.
That's
And
from
it's
the
done really well. Like the CGI looks good, you know.
Yeah, it does look good.
Especially on the found footage thing, like
from the camcorder stuff.
Yeah, it looks much
Yeah.
better through that lens. So
Yeah. So B Show, like basically, it's like I don't want to bury the lead here, but it's almost like a Blair Witch for trolls in Norway, but like it's half. Is it half English, Shah? I think it's half English.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you've never seen Troll Hunter or Autopsy of Jane Doe, they're both phenomenal movies. They're highly regarded films. So when I heard that this was the guy who did Last Voyage of the Demeter, I was like, yeah, I'm going to check this out. This guy knows what the fuck he's doing. Well, I went and saw it. There was about maybe a dozen people in it. It opened this weekend, Saturday. And I liked it. I thought it was very good. I thought everyone in it was phenomenal. Completely practical effects. All sets didn't look CGI. Here's the problem. No one went and saw this fucking movie, guys. Nobody. It bombed over Baghdad. Did you guys hear like early in the week how poorly this performs? Did you hear about it, Brian?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like talking about it. Like I think Uncle Creepy might have said something about it. There's a lot of like horror journalists and reviewer critics, people on Twitter that I follow that were talking about it. Everyone said it was great, but other than like, it's one of those things where like, unless you knew about it, unless you're into horror movies, like no one went to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shah, what did you hear about the film, like outside of the bombing?
Honestly, you're the only one that I've heard talking about it, which is sad because I mean, we're big horror people and we barely knew of it. I mean, I don't know if the marketing is bad for it because I mean, I haven't heard much about this at all.
Yeah. So I want to just give you guys an idea of how poorly it performs. Opening weekend, it did $6.5 million.
Oh my God.
I think it's a $36 million movie, something
Jesus.
like. Yeah, guys. Um, it was bad. It was really. It cost 45 million. And
Oh my God.
um, yeah. I don't know that we've seen this yet. I think this might be the biggest maybe horror bomb in a long time.
Yeah, because usually horror makes money back. I mean, this, what they had to expect like 80 million back for it to be like a profit, right? Like, I mean, it opened up with 6 million. That's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. They literally said this was one of the terms Variety used, which is the biggest industry magazine. The last voyage of the Demeter sank without a trace over its opening weekend, going to a watery grave of just $6.5 million.
Jesus.
I,
Talk about a burial, man. Holy shit.
I yeah, and listen, I'll be honest with you. This is not a movie that should have done this poorly. I don't understand it. There's a lot of people. One of the things that was happening, guys, was like after this was discussed on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, all of the writers were struggling to try to pinpoint why this bombed. So let me ask you guys a question because you guys are huge horror aficionados, and Shy, you're a big theater goer of horror movies. You didn't hear about the film, like you knew nothing about the movie. Do you feel it wasn't marketed? If it was marketed, would you have went and saw it?
I mean, again, I think the marketing had to be off because you're literally the only person I heard talking about it. And I watch a lot of YouTube. I follow a lot of horror channels. I've heard it briefly mentioned that it's coming out this week, but I haven't seen any reviews pop up in my algorithm for it. I saw the Blu-ray was announced, so I'm
Okay.
assuming they're going to rush this to physical media as soon as possible just to
Yeah.
try to make some of that money back. But
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
What
buy
about?
it though. I mean, I'll check it out when it comes out on
I
Blu-ray.
think you'll really like it. Bisho,
Yeah.
you again, you're another horror aficionado. Was this even on your radar outside of me throwing it out in the world here to you?
Not at all. And maybe the title threw it off too, because nothing about this screams Dracula. And I know they were
Well,
going
that's
for
the
something
title from
different.
the book. That is actually, if I'm not mistaken. And before, sorry, Bisho, I just want to recognize we got Digital Lizard, we got Chris Matthews in there, we got Mr. Isaacs, I believe, and of course Slave Cheeks. What's up? Mike Aaron 2112 said the Demeter got money. I really liked it. Um, I think that's actually the name of the chapter in Dracula, the last voyage of the Demeter.
Well, but again, that's one of those inside things where unless you're a fan of that stuff or unless you're in the know, you're not going to recognize.
Mhm.
And I understand maybe there's a stigma with putting up another Dracula movie, especially since the Universal Monsters bombed.
Yeah.
What is it? They were trying to reboot the Dark Universe or whatever it was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
And
they were trying to revert the classic monster universe, and they threw hundreds of millions at it, and they abandoned it.
yeah, just
They
it
started
looks
out
like
with that Tom Cruise mummy movie that was terrible,
yeah.
apparently. So
Yeah, my brother Mike saw it in theaters. He said it was not terrible. He said it was
really,
not
I've
terrible. Yeah,
heard
he said
it
it
was
was
like
not
one of the
terrible.
worst remakes of all time.
He said it was decent at best. I don't think he thought
Yeah.
it was terrible. We also have a werewolf movie, I think, coming out. Oh, it's Roxy Mike. What's up, Roxy Mike? So yeah, I'm just gonna tell you guys this. It's called Captain's Log, Chris Matthews is saying in Dracula. I will tell you guys this. If you see it, you will like it. It is very slow, but once the killing gets going, it's very good. It's gory. Dracula is a monster. Dracula is not a good-looking guy in a suit trying to bang chicks and fucking, do one-liners.
I
He
dig.
is. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that?
I'm saying I dig that. I dig that approach because usually they go with the guy that it's
Yeah.
very typical.
If you want to pull up that's what he looks like, guys. And that's what Dracula should fucking look like.
Yes.
He's got wings. This is all practical effects, and the sets looked very real. This did not look like I think all the money went to the sets. But Dracula doesn't talk. Dracula is not looking to fuck. Dracula is not hanging out with you. That thing wants to eat and kill every living thing it sees, B-Show. I mean, look at that fucking thing. It looks amazing.
See, it's like I like the concept. I just think maybe from a marketing or branding standpoint, like it just was a miss.
Yeah.
No mention of Dracula, no mention of vampire. There were some cool commercials, but like nothing like spelled out Dracula. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to anyone who's just like streaming or scrolling or something like that, it just looks like another movie coming out. But to know that they always gloss over this in the movies. It's like, oh, he's in Transylvania. Oh, now he's over here in this other country. And they never, like, they show like the aftermath. This empty boat shows up drifting to shore, and the only thing on it is a bunch of dirt in a coffin. So, I mean, it's cool that they went there and they tried to do something different with it, but like, I just think it was a marketing miss.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that. What were you gonna say, Sean?
I was just gonna say real quick. There's so many different movies that are doing it right. I mean, you look at Smile, what they did in the baseball fields. That went viral on TikTok and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how you.
I think that helped. I think that helped. I think that helped the movie tremendously.
Even this week, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw this on Instagram. There was a alien kid on the subway in New York. Like
yes, there was. Yeah, that's that low budget movie about a guy who befriends an alien, and they had somebody dressed like that and put on.
No, it's an A24 movie. It's called Jules. It's a
yeah, but it's a small movie. It's a tiny.
I don't know, but I mean that's brilliant marketing. It probably didn't take that much money. It went viral. Everybody's sharing it. Everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" And they knew what they were doing because aliens just got announced, basically. So, it's smart. It doesn't take a lot of money to go viral nowadays, especially if you have some brains behind it.
So I just want to tell you guys some of the criticisms that came up for the film. Some of the writers who wrote. They said one of the first things that said, "Why the fuck was this movie put out in the dead of summer?" Is this does not scream summer. It's especially tied to these blockbusters, tied to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, an R-rated, late 1700s, vampire 1800 vampire story with all British cast with no recognizable people. And a Dracula who doesn't fuck and who doesn't have one-liners and who doesn't wear snazzy clothes is not going to appeal to people. Bisho, do you think that's a part of it? I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any identity for this movie other than Massacre on a Boat, which concept-wise, fine. But like if you're looking to, and again, I'm not a marketing fucking whiz, but like Prestige Worldwide. But like there's no. You say certain things in front of a bunch of people and you start feeling like, Brennan and whatever his name was. But like, it's like, I just don't think there was nothing to grab anyone's attention about it other than it's a monster movie on a boat. No hook. There was really no, there was no public way to identify with what this really was other than like, hey, monster on a boat. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. Summertime, someone brought it up. I think it might have been Slave Cheeks or it might have been Chris Matthews about like, is summertime good for horror movies? I think it's good for blockbuster horror movies. I mean, Jaws was one of the first summer blockbusters.
Yeah, wow. 76. Jaws had an impact on the summer. People stopped going to the beach. That's how fucking much of an impact on it. Shad, do you think a movie like this has no business coming out in the summer?
I mean, when does it have time to come out though? Because I mean, in the fall, in the winter, it's Christmas time. Nobody wants to see horror. And then the only option it has is spring, which is typically when all the shit movies comes out. So I guess maybe like January, February would be a good time, I guess. But, I mean, I don't know, man. This seems like I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do better marketing with it, I guess.
Well, that was one of the big
it's a Dracula movie. I mean, it's not like it's a new concept that I feel like just the attached name to this movie should have brought more than 6 million in.
Well, Roxy Mike in the chat, he saw it and he said it was a good movie. He said it was a nice change of pace. He goes, I'm not even a horror guy, but it was a change of pace from movies that are nonstop action. It's very theatrical. You know what I mean? Like you could tell they went out of their way to get a very Shakespearean type cast for the most part.
It's a period piece.
Yeah, because they're using that dialogue and speaking in this. Like
that's what I like, though, man.
I like it too.
Horror is so fucking good.
Well, this is like the traditional Hammer movies from like the 60s and 70s in the UK. This is a throwback to that. Now, here's another criticism that came up a lot in the critiques. There's no stars in the movie. People said that they barely knew anybody in the film. Do you think? But if I look at the bigger horror properties in the last couple of years, isn't that not a factor? Like Bisho, like why would a star need to be in a horror property?
Yeah, they've pretty much gotten away from that, other than like the Blumhouse movies, and you've had success. I mean, Terrifier 2 was a phenomenon. That was a very taboo type of movie that caught on, so that had that hook going for it. But I can't think of any other movies that have been successful recently, horror-wise, that have relied on a big cast, other than like a big feature, like a Halloween or something.
Scream, like a Scream, but
Scream,
really, yeah. but it has the lineage. It doesn't, has the stars and the lineage. You look at
But to be
Smile.
fair, though, they did have them, but those movies focused on like Jenna Ortega and the other girl that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, she
And
was good.
Jenna Ortega was starting to percolate a little bit, but she wasn't the star she was until after, I think, Scream 5.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. She was not, because the TV show didn't come out from the Addams Family. But also, like, what I want to say was, I don't like, if you look at Smile and Barbarian Shah, two of the big horror movies last year, you couldn't name a single fucking person in either one of those movies, pretty much.
Well, I think, I mean, look at Talk to Me. We just talked about that last week.
Perfect example.
I don't know a single person in that movie, but it was phenomenal. Also, I think a lot of those movies like Halloween and Scream, they're forced because of the name attachment to bring these people back. It's not necessarily that they want to, because they're going to have to overpay the shit out of these people. When nowadays, they don't need big stars to get these movies going for them to be profitable. I mean, you look at 90% of horror movies that get released are profitable, except for, Last Voyage, I guess.
Yeah, and this had Universal's name behind it. It's a Universal property. It had the Dracula. They literally are. The captain is reading dialogue from Dracula, the captain's log. It's a good-looking movie. It's a slow burn. I really liked it. I was bummed. I had no idea it did this bad. Like, no idea it did this badly. I felt like the people that saw it in the theater were mostly older. Like, I would say mostly couples and older. Nobody under like 30 in this movie. I can tell you that. There was nobody. I think it was a movie that horror fans heard was a good thing to go check out. And also, I will tell you this, if you guys look at the reviews from the people who saw the movie B Show are fairly positive. People who actually went, and the few, like me and the three other people that saw it, thought it was great.
it's got a 4.0 rating on looks like Google. That must have been the 4 people that went to see it. But let's see, what are the 50% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.5 out of 10 IMDb. I haven't heard anything bad about it. I really haven't. But
other than the bombing.
Exactly. The burial at sea. But like, yeah, it's so strange that it's one of those things. It was a niche thing where if you knew about it, you knew about it, and those people enjoyed it, but nobody else gave a shit.
And guys, I'll tell you this interesting thing about the movie. There's maybe 10 speaking parts. 10.
Which is even better. I like movies like that, man.
Yeah.
Where it just relies on solely like the visuals and the storytelling, that is just without the dialogue. I don't know, man. I'm captured by stuff like that, like different approaches to cinema and stuff like that. Like even silent films from back in the day, when I watched them, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe like I can.
It had that Nosferatu vibe. It really
good. I'm excited for this.
Yeah. So listen, I think I encourage people. I have a feeling this is getting rushed immediately to streaming. Because of how poorly it did. But I would just encourage people to check it out. Roxy Mike said, he knew one actor in the movie. I think there was one man in there who had a pretty big role, possibly in Ant-Man and Dune. But and Chris Matthews saying the dude from Ant-Man. I don't recognize anybody from that. I just didn't. I recognize the guy from Game of Thrones, the captain of the ship. He's got a great British presence. He was in the Godzilla reboots. He's in the Godzilla King Kong, I think, reboot. But yeah, let's see. Look, check it out. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be hitting us up later on in the year and be like, yeah, I saw it was good. I don't know what the fuck the problem was. But there was a big announcement, guys. I think this is so fucking funny. So earlier this week, we got a half a screenshot and everybody lost their fucking collective minds. What am I talking about? We got a kind of first look of the unbelievably stacked reboot of Toxic fucking Avenger. I don't even know what to say. For people that obviously are fans of that genre, Toxic Avenger was a huge. I mean, Shah, where would you even put that? Was it the first low budget crossover horror movie? I mean, because it had cartoons and dolls and comic books.
Yeah, I mean, it's either this or I guess this was more popular than Bad Taste and Dead Alive, though, right?
Oh, and this is a phenomenon. I mean,
I knew the cartoon before the movie.
The Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah, I remember my mom got me the ship, the toy when I was a kid, when I was like 5 or 6, and I had no idea what it was from. So I played with it for years without knowing where it comes from, and then later on I realized, oh shit, this is from a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I've been a big fan. I mean, I still own the Tox box, the DVD set. I pre-ordered the 4K that's coming out soon. Troma's putting that on 4K, so I'm excited for the old ones, man. They're shit movies, but they're fun shit movies. You know, it's like Nukem High. You know, those movies. I have a soft spot for those kind of movies.
Me too. Yeah, I'm a Troma. I would say I'm a Troma guy. Bisho, where do you land with Troma? You're like, it's like, like.
This is one of the goofy, schlocky horror movies that I like.
Okay.
And like Shaw, I knew about the Toxic Crusaders before the Toxic Avengers.
Wow. You guys are the exact same age. Like, you guys are literally the same age.
Because like in the early 90s, there were the 3 ones I remember that came out that got Saturday morning cartoons. With 4, actually. Beetlejuice had a Saturday morning cartoon in a toy line that I had. Toxic Crusaders, obviously. And then Swamp Thing, too. Swamp Thing had like a miniseries run.
Yes.
Oh, I remember Street Sharks also. You remember that shit?
Yeah, you always bring up
Hell yeah,
You're a big Street Sharks fan.
I love Street Sharks.
And then there was Tales from the Crypt Keeper, which was like a cartoony kids version of Tales from the Crypt, almost like a Goosebumps before Goosebumps. So there was a bunch of those when I was a kid, and those kind of got me. Those looked like my training wheels into more scary shit. But no, this is one of the ones that I like. I'm not a huge fan of the goofy stuff. Like people were putting clips on of not Troma movies, but movies like it on Twitter this week, and they just look so bad. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is amazing." It's like, I don't know. But I dig Toxic Avenger, and I like Peter Dinklage, so we'll see what happens.
Well, this is an odd thing. Okay, so we have Peter Dinklage. Everybody who knows, I mean, if you don't know who Peter Dinklage is now, he has multiple awards from being on Game of Thrones. He is a dwarf actor. He is a fucking dwarf actor. He has a very big part in Elf. That's a small cameo, but a very big part. He became sort of like an indie darling from a movie, a low budget movie about people who watch trains. I can't remember the name of it, but him and a couple of other people. It was like the big indie movie of that year. But and he also, I think, was in like a punk band in New York. I saw him on the subway once, and actually I saw him twice. Yeah, I live near him in Brooklyn. He lives in Brooklyn to this day. And then we were on the subway with him, and my ex-girlfriend was having a mental breakdown. I had to actually tell her to calm down. This is when Game of Thrones was like the hot shit. But Peter Dinklage is playing the Toxic Avenger. Okay. We also have Kevin Bacon in the movie, Elijah Wood, Jake and Tremblay, Taylor Page, Sarah Niles, Julia Davis. Some of these names we know, some of these don't know. And Shah, interesting thing, Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz are producing the movie, Shaheen. They're producing the fucking movie. How wild is that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think people are going to hate this movie. I'm telling you, and I'll tell you why. Because it's hard to compare this in any shape or form to the original. Like the original was this cheap. I mean, look at Toxic Avenger in these fucking screenshots. It looks like shit, but that was the charm. They're not going to do that again with a much higher budget movie. So I think it loses that charm. But I think overall, this is obviously going to be probably a better movie. So I think me being able to just go into it in that state of mind that they're not going to be anything like the original, I think I'll be able to, separate it and enjoy it for what it is. But I don't know if everybody's going to be able to do that.
We don't really know. I mean, look, we literally are looking at a blurry behind the like a screenshot. Like that's it. That's all we got. And we got the movie poster, which I think looks like Terrence and Phillip, but other people in the chat are saying it looks like the Suicide Squad.
Oh, it does.
Second one boot. The director, Macon Blair, he's an actor. He was in the movies Blue Ruin and Green Room. Because he's friends with the director of those two movies. I actually saw Green Room in theaters. It's very personal to me, that movie. If you've never seen it, if you've seen it, you'll know why. It was like literally like taken from like the hardcore scene. And it's brilliant if you've never seen it. Shah, I'm sure you've heard of Blue Ruin.
Yeah, I haven't. No, dude, I have like all the A24 movies, man.
Okay. Did you watch
Blue A24 Ruin? Chances are I own it. But yeah, I fucking love that movie.
That's a brilliant, I mean, Bisho, Blue Ruin might be one of the best independent films of the 21st century. I'm not even joking. It really, it's that good. Like it's that good. It's about, it's a thriller. It's about a man whose family is killed, and he lives in his car as like a homeless person, and then he decides to get revenge on the person who was responsible for the murder of his parents.
That sounds amazing.
It's amazing. Now, Shah, the star of this movie is actually the director of the Toxic Avenger reboot. He's only directed one film previously with Elijah Wood. He's also, I believe he has a part in Oppenheimer, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has a small, but Oppenheimer is a big movie. He also, Shah, was in Green Room. Shah, have you seen Green Room? It's the same director.
Green Room. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. I love that movie.
Oh, you said Blue Ruin. I thought you were talking about Blue Ruin.
No, Green Room. That's
Oh.
Yeah, I was in a phase of trying to buy all the A24 movies that I had missed, and that was one of the ones that I had to catch up on.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would call it a horror movie. It's more of a thriller, but I would definitely fucking recommend it. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Okay. So you've seen Green Room, but you didn't see Blue Ruin.
No, I didn't see Blue Ruin. No.
Okay. How great is fucking Ben Kingsley in Green Room?
Which one is he?
He's the white power leader.
Oh yeah.
Is Patrick Stewart in this?
Patrick Stewart. I said Ben Kingsley. I got them confused.
Oh shit.
Patrick Stewart. Yeah. How the fuck did they get Patrick Stewart to play a white power leader in the fucking?
And you believe it too, man. He really.
Oh yeah.
He sells that shit, dude. You fucking believe it.
Bisho. This movie is about a hardcore band on a tour, independently, and they get booked at a white power spot, even though they know it's white power and one of them is Jewish, but they need the money to play. And while they are there, there is a mishap, and they are caught in the middle of a murder at the fucking white power club, trying to escape the fucking club with the white power dudes and pit bulls.
Oh my god.
Right, Shot? I mean, it's tense as fucking hell, dude.
Yeah, and these little punk kids got some fucking balls, man. There's a scene. I mean, it's not a spoiler or anything.
Yeah, it's been.
There's a scene where they're playing their songs, where they're coming at skinheads, and they're in a skinhead venue.
Yeah,
and that's when you see kind of things turn, and it's a brilliant movie, man. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, so I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Well, they play B-Show. They decide to open their set for the Nazi skinheads playing Nazi punks. Fuck off.
It's great.
There's like 3 or 4 of them in the band, and it's like fucking 50 skinheads in the venue.
Yeah, and it looked. By the way, guys, as someone who has been in not that circumstance, but similar type circumstance with scary people in backwater clubs, it feels very real. Everything about it feels real. The violence in it, Shah, is pretty intense, huh?
Yeah, I haven't seen it for like 2-3 years. But I don't remember specifically any murders in there, but I remember I fucking loved it. Yeah, I remember it's not a slow movie. So I mean, I know we talk about A24 being slow. This is one of their movies where it's fucking it's go time right from the gate. So
I would say it's just as good as Blue Ruin, but I am telling you guys right now, Blue Ruin is deep. So anyway, the actor plays Macon Blair. He's the director of this Toxic Avenger reboot, and again, he's only done one feature film. I don't know how much this movie cost. I imagine they didn't throw a dick ton of money at it. Obviously, we're supposed to have all practical special effects. That concerns me because Peter Dinklage does not play Melvin, from what I can tell. Jason Tremblay plays Melvin. I could be wrong, guys. We just only saw a screenshot. I thought Peter Dinklage was Melvin, and then he becomes Toxic Avenger. People are telling me that he actually plays Toxic Avenger. As a dwarf, Shah,
I'm trying to get my head around how that's gonna come off.
That actually makes some sense because they're going in the other direction. Because like in the other one, like Toxie was like big and like it transformed him. Maybe it's this big. Do you think they're gonna go like it's this big fucking Chad at the gym and he gets dumped in a vat after he's being a bully to someone and he becomes like this mutant?
See, this is what I'm saying. I don't know because if you look up the actor Jason Tremblay, he looks like Melvin in real life. Like, and I have to presume that they cast this kid. He's like a 20-year-old kid who looks 13 to play Melvin. And I just assumed they would get some cock diesel dude to play Toxie. I don't think that's the case. I literally think I'm right. I think they've did Peter Dinklage in enough makeup and gotten depth perception shot. I mean, because that's Peter Dinklage, guys. The picture. That's what everyone is saying. Is that that's Peter Dinklage.
When is this coming out? Did they announce it yet?
That's a great question. Oh, Jacob Tremblay.
I'm assuming Halloween, right?
Do we have a release date? Let's see.
Probably not. I don't think they've announced it yet.
No, we don't have a release date. It's not on the poster. We don't have a release date. Yeah, guys, I'm right. If you look up this kid, Peter Dinklage is the fucking Toxic Avenger. He's not.
It says release date September something. I just said it. September 21st.
It's got to be next.
Oh, but
year.
that's on the Fantastic Fest, so it's probably not even going to come out.
It got delayed.
Then
it must have got delayed. Also, we have the strike. Does it say okay? Peter Dinklage as. Oh, he's not Melvin. Look, they're not even calling him Melvin.
Winston Goose. What?
The Toxic Avenger. Okay. And there's the mayor. Okay. And I think Kevin Bacon, guys, is the villain. Hey, shout out to our good buddy Joe Punches. What's up, Mr. Punches? And Dirk is in the chat. Oh, we got all the boys chilling tonight. Look at this, guys. Whoa.
This is a good cast, though. I mean, we got Elijah Wood. We got fucking Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Elijah Wood's great in those weird roles,
great.
you know.
Yeah, man. Great. Maniac was good. That's underrated.
Yeah, he's also amazing in Sin City, Shad. Did you see him in Sin City?
Yeah, but I don't remember Sin City.
He was the serial killer who ate people who didn't speak, Kevin. He's amazing. They made a figure.
You ever see Maniac?
Love it. Love the reboot. Big fan.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. What else was he in? He did another horror movie.
Well, he's Lord of the Rings. He does a lot of low budget.
No, he did another horror movie.
I'm trying to think. He did another horror movie. Oh, guys, we're forgetting a big horror movie. He was in a low budget horror movie. Fuck. Well, he's in that movie I like with all the high school kids with the aliens. I can't remember that shit.
Oh yeah.
What is that called?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the star. He's literally the fucking star of the movie.
That's a Robert Rodriguez movie. That's really good.
The Faculty.
The Faculty. Yeah.
Underrated movie.
Which, dude, the CGI does not hold up, but it's a good movie.
I know. I don't care. I like the acting.
Movie though.
I'll tell you right now. The practical alien at the end does, not the CG.
I'll tell you right now. If we ever do a show based on underrated horror movies, that's going in my top 5. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting that in there. I've rewatched that movie so many times. I love his Maniac. His Maniac is great. He's also B-Show. You don't know it yet, but he's in Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I finished season 2.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I burned through it, man.
I still gotta see that.
It kind of goes. It ebbs and flows, right? Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, the second season started kind of weird, and I wasn't really. I didn't really like the twist it took, but it worked out.
Yeah. Do we think Elijah Wood is a very indie kind of dude? He probably made his money with Lord of the Rings, so he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. Oh, guys, he's in that British soccer movie, the fucking Green Street Hooligans. It's fucking amazing. You guys ever see that?
What's it called?
Green Street Hooligans. Fucking dude.
No, but that sounds like something I would love, though.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Dude, he's an American going to visit his sister in the UK, and he becomes a soccer hooligan.
Oh, dude, I gotta see
this.
this.
And that's the dude from fucking Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love movies like this.
Hard R movie. Hard R.
Yeah, hooligans are crazy too, man. If you go on YouTube and watch some of their fights, dude, they're fucking crazy.
Yo, this movie is amazing.
Probably on Tubi.
Oh, I guarantee you. Yeah, it's old as fuck. So what do we guys think? I want to get some predictions here about Toxie. Shah, are you excited? Are you worried they're going to fuck it up? What do you think's going to happen?
Well, personally, I'm excited, but I think people are going to be pissed off at the end result because it's not going to be what they expect. They're expecting, again, you can't recreate that in 2023 with a bigger budget. It wouldn't even make sense. I mean, it wouldn't happen. It's like backyard wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a backyard wrestling level movie. Now you're trying to recreate that with like a WWE budget. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm personally excited. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be one of those movies that I just hope they don't end up making like fucking 5 of them, you know, like Insidious.
I highly doubt it.
You don't think so?
I
don't know, man.
I just saw a trailer for a Peter Dinklage movie that looks like he's going to get nominated for an Academy Award. Like, I don't remember the name of it. So something tells me he's not going to. This is probably something he liked. He's an East Coast guy. He's probably a trauma guy. He's a punk guy. He lives in Brooklyn. He likes dogs. You know, I just feel like this is just something he did for free.
What the fuck does that have to do?
I'm just saying, he's like one of these, dude, he's not a Hollywood guy, dude. This dude lives in fucking Brooklyn Heights. He's lived there for 25 years. He's worth millions of dollars, and he takes the subway and doesn't shave. And he walks his dogs like by himself. This is not a guy looking to be like franchised out and have toys made and all that other shit. I'm just telling you. I mean, saw the dude twice. Did not seem like he the least bit interested in being approached or being famous. I can tell you that. I was sitting 3 feet away from you on the F train, and you can't miss the motherfucker. B Show, what do you think about all this? Is Hollywood fucking this up?
I think it will, because I held out hope because we read the article or the announcement from Bloody Disgusting a couple weeks ago, which you can check the show out on YouTube. Go back and I think 2 weeks ago, and they said all the things that sounded right. Hey, we're going to use the producers that are involved, and we're going to take it back to what Toxie was. And then it reminded me of that's exactly what John Carpenter said about the Halloween reboot.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed by that.
wow, Jesus.
So, and now they're saying the same thing about The Exorcist.
Yes, they are.
So I'm going to wait and see. I'm excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay, me too. That's my take too. I know, by the way, Shaw, your boy Schlack was losing it on the internet talking about how excited he was.
Yeah, I'm just glad this isn't like a Troma. I mean, a Blumhouse property now or some shit. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine if Blumhouse took like Class of Nukem High or like Poultrygeist?
Yeah, I mean, Poltergeist, I would believe it. Yeah, I could see that.
Class of Nukem High is pretty great, actually.
Yeah, they won't remake that though. You can't even. That's not even.
No, they will not.
Like
no.
80s school vibes. You can't recreate that.
Surf
nowadays.
Nazis Must Die. That would be like, what are they going to do? Put Ryan Gosling and Surf Nazis Must Die? B Show. I mean, like
say no cap, and this is
Christian Bale in Class of Nukem.
I'm getting the cold sweats, guys. You got to stop. It's gross. Jesus. Look,
we're all optimistic. But I'm concerned. I have my concerns. I don't want mainstream people like sucking up the oxygen. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't want the normies liking it, Shaw. You know what I mean?
You know what we forgot about that just popped up on my thing? They're remaking Faces of Death. I forgot about that.
No, they're not remaking it. They're making a film, an actual film. It's already done, Shaw. It's shot already.
Oh man, when is this coming out, dude?
Well, guys, we got the fucking we got the strike. We don't have no fucking idea when things are coming out.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, shot. It's done. I think it's already done.
Who was in it? I remember somebody.
I don't know, but I heard it's a musical, and Lizzo has a big part in it. It's Lizzo, Ed Sheeran, Tom Holland, Zendaya, and I believe a Kardashian has a role in it. Dude, they're doing Faces of Death with Lizzo and Tom and Sheeran.
Faces of Death with Lizzo.
Like Lizzo's like, I was a huge Faces of Death fan.
Oh my god.
They want Faces of Death, but they want it to be more body inclusive. That's what it is. They want to see more fat dead people.
They'll show like the footage with the banana eating and shit.
Dude, we should call the episode Body Positivity Faces of Death. Like they want a body positivity Faces of Death.
Stretch marks of death.
By the way, they're working on a cannibal holocaust. But in this, the cannibals are the good guys. Shot. Did you hear about this one?
Yo, can you imagine Lizzo and Cannibal Holocaust? That scene
no, I cannot.
That one scene where they impale the woman on the stick, like Lizzo just naked on that stick.
But instead of a stick, they have to get like 80 sticks. Like they try to do a stick and the stick
like a telephone pole,
like a whole tree.
And then she slides halfway down and it snaps in half. Yeah.
And then half the movie is them chopping the wood to get enough sticks to impale Lizzo.
Or she survives because they can't find a winch to lift her up high enough to get her on the spike.
Or Lizzo falls off of it and kills the cannibals, and that's how the movie ends. And then that's how you see the plane fly by and just see.
Oh
Lizzo.
my god! Like the Clive Barker book when they make the giant out of people and it falls over and kills everybody.
Books of Blood.
Yeah.
I do think though, if they catch Lizzo, they'd probably be able to feed off of that for like at least 3 years.
I like what you did there, Lizzo and Feed. I like how you incorporated those.
Yeah.
But no, I'm serious. Like dude, can you look? I'm not even joking because Peter Dinklage apparently is the reason Snow White is a problem. But I don't know if we have time to talk about that tonight. But Peter Dinklage literally could have tanked a fucking franchise like in a conversation. But if they do a woke Toxic Avenger, like I don't even like. Is this a possibility that they would do this?
No, I think the fact that the original Troma guys are involved, I think they're gonna stick to the same vibe. They're gonna try to make it the same as possible, but
so you think we're gonna have big titty women running around and fucking this? I bet you we don't. The only person
it
topless
is.
in this
No,
is,
you're right. Yeah, how do you pull that off nowadays?
dude, that's part of the Toxic Avenger is he's fucking a
Yeah.
penthouse fucking brought in a dump.
They should completely lean in that direction. Could you imagine how much press it would get? It would get, oh my God, if they completely lean into the direction of being like brash and somewhat
Not
what's the word I'm
happening.
looking for?
Not
But could you imagine that though? Like hire a bunch of like not strippers, but borderline and just fucking run with it.
Let me
Did
tell you guys something.
Did
I
Halloween not have any
I
nudity?
saw Frankenhooker in movie theaters. Okay. And
That's a banger.
Frankenhooker, half the cast was porn stars and penthouse pets. They had a casting thing out of it. Okay. And James Lorenz, who I talked about from the Document of the Dead from Street Trash, is the star of Frankenhooker. He's fucking he's the male star. Like, there is no chance that they are going to put topless women in Toxic Avenger. I will say to you, if I see one nipple in that movie, it's going to belong to fucking Peter Dinklage.
No, I think you're gonna get some, dude. I think you're gonna get some. Didn't they have nudity in Halloween, the reboots?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No. Are you kidding? There was
So
fucking
nudity. Wait, nudity is just like a no-go in horror now? That hasn't even registered in my head. Is that just not a thing?
There was
anymore?
more nudity in Oppenheimer than there was in the last 3 fucking years of horror films. You think Scream's got nudity? Did you see any nudity in Talk to Me? No, that they don't even touch that anymore.
Well, there was in Smile when that giant monster lady came out with her titties hanging to the floor, but other than that,
and Barbarian when the mutant lady had there's titties, they just belong to the monsters. There's monster titties.
yeah, you have to be a mutant to be able to show some skin.
You got to be like dead or a mutant or like a sea creature.
Well, I mean, you were saying mutant. They could have mutant tits and Toxic Avenger.
No
It would make
chance.
perfect sense.
No chance.
The shit could get spilled on somebody's
Peter
tit.
Dinklage didn't even want them making Snow
making
White,
show
and they
tits.
listened to him, and he had nothing to do with it. And like, he's the only dwarf on Earth. Like Hornswoggle wasn't out there. Fucking, Peter Dinklage is the reason why Snow White has 7 friends instead of 7 dwarfs. You think this guy's gonna put big titties in movies and have fucking, no chance. I'm telling you right now, there's no chance.
Yo, that boggles my mind. What is the last like horror movie that showed tits like a fucking slasher? Can you name one? What is the last one?
I can't think of one.
Wow.
I can't. Terrifier had no nudity. Terrifier is the most offensive horror. It did? Yeah, it was
the
art.
First one did.
I'm talking about Terrifier 2, which is now considered probably one of the biggest independent films of the 21st century. You see any nudity in Terrifier 2?
No, in fact, they did
Somebody
a shower
in the chat
scene
let
with
us
her in the
know.
beginning, but they never showed anything. And then people said that online, and people kind of were like, "Oh, misogynist. There has to be titties." It's like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
That Lauren Laverne girl, the star, was quick to tell people she's not nude in that movie. If that movie was made 10 years earlier or 20 years earlier, forget it. There would have been Art would have been like, you would have seen Art hacking tits off and like ping ponging them, like juggling them, like a fucking like.
Well,
like
he did rip the chest and wore the lady's tits and hair.
Yeah.
And scalp in the first one, but not in the second
Yeah,
one.
you could have gratuitous violence, but if you can't see a titty out. I'm telling you. No, Joe. None in the new Chainsaw. There's no. I am telling you, there is no nudity in new horror. I am telling you. We've seen it all. We've covered here for 3 years straight. We've seen every one of these films. None of them have nudity. They have sex scenes. They don't have nudity. They are abandoned that. They've abandoned that at all. I don't know that it's forbidden, Slave Cheeks. I just know that they're trying. If you've noticed, a lot of the themes in these movies is the women are very empowered, right? Or they're the stars of the movie, whether it's Terrifier or Smile or Barbarian. Do you think the girl in Barbarian was gonna drop some nudes like in that like a shower scene? If that movie was made in the 90s or the 80s, every one of these women in all these movies, from Lauren Lavera to her, all would have done nudes. Don't you think, B-Show? There's been no question.
Yeah, because I think Danielle Harris went topless in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah, she did.
So apparently Maxine is gonna have full frontal nudity.
Okay, I didn't count X, guys,
Wow.
because it's a fucking porn. It's a fucking movie
Yes.
about the porn industry. Like,
So
It's the
that's
Boogie
coming
Nights
out.
of horror movies. Yeah.
yeah, but even X, guys, even X. I mean, for a horror porn movie, was there really a lot of nudity in X? Not necessarily. I mean, it
No.
wasn't gratuitous, like because it was in the context of them making a porno movie. You know, is Mia Goth even nude in X?
I think in the new one there's gonna be My
I don't think
dog.
she is. I think the other girl is the blonde
I
girl.
think in Maxine she's probably going to be nude.
I don't think she's nude in X. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
I don't think she's nude in any of them, but I think in Maxine she's probably going to be nude.
Well,
because that's when she's doing the porno stuff.
She's nude in the Lawrence von Trier movie where what's his face is fucking her in real life because it's his wife. Where fucking Shia LaBeouf's fucking her. She's 100%. She's getting fucked. He's fucking her in the goddamn movie. She did nudes in the Necromaniac low budget Lars von Trier movie, but she didn't do nudes in the porno movie about the horror movie.
Well, she wasn't as known back then, you know.
No, she wasn't. But everybody, there's all real sex in that movie. Everybody's fucking in that movie. I think the cameraman are banging.
I still haven't seen it. I bought it and I still haven't seen it. Isn't there two of them?
No, it's one. It's like a 4-hour movie. It's broken down in 2 parts. But listen, I don't want to get off our rant here. If you think, look, if you're a trauma guy and you think you're going to, Peter Dinklage doesn't even like little people in movies about little people. The virtue signaling is going to be off the charts. I have a feeling it's going to be Wokey Avenger. Toxie goes woke is a possibility. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I'm not fucking Johnny Stradamus. I'm just saying it's wild to think about it that a movie that was with porn stars based on ooze and made in fucking, in the Jersey and toxicity, like they're gonna have no, I don't know, dude.
It's
like
gotta be New Jersey, right? Please tell me
it's gotta be New Jersey.
It's gotta be New Jersey, dude.
If it ain't Jersey, I'm
gonna be pissed.
Red flag.
It's not fucking filmed in Jersey.
No, guys. I just heard it's in Portland, and Toxie's girlfriend is a lawyer. She's a lawyer. She's a lawyer going to med school at night.
It's like shot in that forbidden zone from like.
And she works in a vegan coffee shop on the weekend. Dude,
maybe that's two small kids.
She has two small kids. Single mom, but she doesn't like to be painted with that brush, and her children have not conformed to identities yet. So please don't. I don't know, man. Peter Dinklage is I love Peter Dinklage. I think he's brilliant, but that Snow White thing, I don't know, man. I'm a little worried. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
He has Jason Aldean blocked on Twitter. He definitely does.
Dude, maybe they're gonna have a Trump. I can already see it. Like they're gonna have a Trump character, and then
that's
Peter
what it
Dinklage
is. The big business.
We based this character on Trump, and
it's gonna be this big business.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was the inspiration for the villain. I'm like, no, stop. This is a movie about Toxic Avenger. Why? Look, maybe we're wrong, guys. I'm just saying. I smell it coming. I smell it.
I honestly don't, man. I gotta disagree. I think they're gonna.
I hope I'm wrong.
They're gonna deliver in that.
Let's find out.
I don't know.
Let's find out. So a couple of other things we want to get to before we head over to the Patreon, the bonus show there. Which, by the way, guys, the Patreon's going to be loaded with wrestling stuff. You're not going to want to miss this Patreon episode. I'm telling you right now, we got a lot to talk about in wrestling and this shit. But some big news: Ari Aster is actually produced a film about Nick Cage. Now, I didn't know that this was even existing because Nick Cage has been very busy, as we all know. He's kind of back in the mainstream. Renfield didn't do well, but it put him back in the mainstream. And of course, people love Nick Cage. And Nick Cage just shot a movie. Ari Aster didn't direct it, but Ari Aster produced it for him, where he is a principal of a school where the entire school has a dream that he is in. That's all they're saying about it. And he becomes a viral sensation. He's a schlubby. If you look up what he looks like in the movie, he looks there he is. Look at it, guys. Look at this. He looks a little like me. Look at this. Look, he's like a loser principal that everyone hates. And then one night they all have a dream and he's in it and he becomes an internet sensation.
Fuck yes.
I need to see this. Look at him.
This is so dumb.
I need to see this movie immediately.
He looks like my older brother. If my older brother put on about 50, 60 pounds.
But do we know the name of this film? I heard the plot and I heard what it was.
Dream scenario.
Dream scenario. But this can't be bad, Shah. What are you thinking?
I can't wait. Do we know who's directing it? Did they announce it?
Well, the whole thing was Ari Aster produced it, Ari Aster. So Dream Scenario. Let's look it up, B. What do we got?
Christopher Borgli?
Let's see what he's done. Oh, he's like a young guy.
Oh, he did Sick of Myself?
I've heard of Sick of Myself.
Yo, that movie, Vinegar Syndrome, put that out. I had no idea what the shit that was, man. That movie is
I've heard of this
bad
movie.
shit crazy.
I heard this movie is fucked up.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
She rolling pills in her
I
mouth?
heard of this movie. I've heard of this movie. Shy, you have it?
I have it, yeah.
Oh, you need to watch it. I heard this.
Look at that cover. That's the one that I have. The one with the broken face. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know what the plot of this is? By the way, this is supposed to be a
lot of self-mutilation.
Yeah, I think it's a woman who can't stop harming herself. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we might need to watch this and do a little showy show on it. I think he's
probably
Canadian.
On Tubi. Look it up. Is it on Tubi?
He might be
Canadian.
Canadian.
Tubi.
I don't know.
Sick of myself.
But
Showtime.
it's on Showtime. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
B show. I'll be watching this motherfucker. Showtime's got good horror, man. They got a good deal. They have an A24 deal. I'm telling you, they have an A24 deal. So Ari Aster has produced this movie with this director who apparently made a real fucked up movie. I'm excited for this Nick Cage movie. What do you think there, B show? I'm excited. It sounds great.
It looks fun because Nicolas Cage is so all over the place. Either it's corny, like what's the movie Face Off with Travolta,
Yeah.
or Con Air's fun, but that accent's really bad.
I know.
I love you, baby. But
He's trying to sound like Elvis without doing the Elvis.
Oh,
That's
but
what
like
it is.
he's all over the place. And I didn't see Color Out of Space, but I think it was Mandy.
Oh, Mandy is amazing.
And that was great. He was awesome. So I don't know if anyone can do it. It's him, I guess, to have that range. But
Shah, how
we'll
excited
see.
are you? We got a fucked up director, you got a fucked up producer, and you got a fucked up actor.
Yeah, I hope it's not a. I'm thinking it's probably a dark comedy, but I hope.
Yeah.
I hope they have some fucked up aspects to it.
I imagine. I mean, and we don't know the concept of the dream. Is it like inappropriate dream? Like they're not really giving too much of the plot. But if this is going to theaters, I would definitely check it out if it is going to theaters. For sure. So we got that announcement, and then Shah just told me about this earlier. I'm blown away by this because this was not. I didn't see anything about this. Oh, by the way, Dirk is right. They've turned Nick Cage into Uncle Phil.
He looks like light skinned Uncle Phil.
He's light skinned Uncle Phil. Oh my god.
Light skinned.
Well, he looks like he's wearing the Uncle Phil clothes.
Yeah, and he's got the horseshoe going on too.
Oh, I hope he uses a fucked up voice. Please let him use a fucked up voice in this movie.
If he shows up in a Coogee sweater, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Oh, that would be amazing. And I think he looks like he gained weight or they made him look heavy, like Uncle Philish. Shah just brought this to our attention earlier. Didn't know about it, but apparently Alex Garland, who Shah and I are super fans of. We love all three of his movies. We think he has three straight bangers. Who most recently did Men. We know it's very polarizing. But Shah also Annihilation and Ex Machina. I mean, this guy's top three are no joke.
I mean, I think I like him more than Ari Aster now, I would say. Just because he's 3 out of 3. Like, Beau Was Afraid was really good, but it didn't hold up to. I have to watch it again because it's one of those movies you have to watch a couple times.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably watch it.
I feel like but Midsommar and Hereditary were just like fucking 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
But as far as Alex Garland, man, I mean, Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Men, every single one of those was just fucking perfect for me.
And by the way, Shah, wouldn't you say three completely different movies?
Yeah,
like
different. Yo, and I didn't know he did the fucking movie The Beach. He wrote that movie back in the day with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, he drafted it from the book? I didn't know that because it's based on a book.
Yeah, he did a bunch of movies back in like the late 90s. I had no idea.
He's that old? Well, I guess he's my age, right?
Yeah.
He's like an older guy.
If we go on his IMDb, which I'm sure we'll do in a second to pull up the cast and shit, but you'll see. He did The Beach, and he did another movie back in the day, too. You'll be shocked.
He probably couldn't get a film made, so he was writing.
Yeah, he was a writer for like 15, 20 years.
Looks like he worked on 28 Days Later.
Yeah, 20. That's what it was. He wrote 28 Days Later. That's what it was.
That's Danny Boyle. I mean, Danny Boyle's big fun.
That's what it was. Yeah, 28 Days Later
Alex,
on The Beach.
Yeah, Alex, he worked on Dredd, the Judge Dredd movie, which is fucking awesome. Wow, he's got his hands in. Jesus fucking Christ, this dude. Well, anyway, he is now, I guess his next film is a fucking Civil War movie called Civil War. This dude is not afraid. If you're not familiar with Alex Garland, Shah will tell you, he's not afraid to show you some fucked up visuals, Shah. Wouldn't you say, like, he's got balls?
I think he's really found himself ever since, you know, starting to direct the movies. Because if you look at his writing, like the earlier, like The Beach. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's nothing like what he's directing now. That has nothing to do with these body horror, surreal, fucked up movies that he's making now.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this though, dude.
Yeah, this
Because
is a guy.
he's gonna show you some shit, man.
He's gonna show. You're gonna probably see a hyper violent Civil War movie.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like hyper. I'm talking about like limbs flying, innards, like organs, like people getting their brains bashed in.
Probably brutally racist, very racist.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's not afraid. Yeah,
but he won't like shy away from the racism either. It'll probably be
of course. And how could you make a Civil War movie and not have like a degree of that in there?
No, but he'll probably show it in depth in violent ways that most people probably won't.
Kirsten Dunst is getting top billing in this movie. That's an interesting choice for a Civil War movie. He puts together great. Who is that? I'm trying to. I don't recognize any of these people. You guys recognize a lot?
Stephen McKinley. He was in.
He's a character actor. He's in Dune. He's great.
Well, he was in Beau Was Afraid too. That's the only thing I know.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays. He's a character actor. He's in. He was also in. You know what shot he's in? He's in Lady Bird. He plays the priest who directs the play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's good in that.
Jared Shaw. Look at that guy's fucking neck. Jesus.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of blood and guts here. I'm excited for this. This is a guy who I got to say, after Men, I was like, wow, where does he go from here? Shot kind of out of left field, huh? Not what I predicted.
Yeah, it's definitely not a horror movie, which it seemed like that was his theme.
Well, it might be. Well, I think we're underestimating the horror of what we're going to see in this Civil War.
Yeah, but a different type of horror. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be these surrealist films. Because, I mean, Ex Machina, I guess that wasn't as surreal as Annihilation and Men.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Annihilation's pretty deep. But Ex Machina is more about the future and AI, and you think about where we are now.
Which Ex Machina, dude, I showed it to my girlfriend over the weekend for the first time.
It's fucking great.
That movie scares the shit out of you, especially if you watch it now. Because it's very relevant. It's like, dude, I don't know what the future holds, man.
By the way, Shah, maybe 5 speaking parts in Ex Machina.
There's a lot of talking.
Speaking parts. There's only Dominic Gleeson, Oscar Isaacs, and the girl. There's not a lot of speaking parts in it. There's not like it's only a handful of people in it. Bisho, any one of his movies you would watch. Bisho, did you see Annihilation?
No, I watched Men though.
Oh yeah, you saw Men. Yeah,
I saw Men. I thought it was great.
Yeah, dude. Well, Annihilation, the bear scene in Annihilation will impact your life. I'm just telling you right now.
Joe Punchy said the same thing.
Yeah,
man. I thought the lighthouse was that part almost made me fucking because like
the bear is too much, man. The bear is too much.
No, the bear didn't bother me, man. The rest
really,
of the movie, yeah, fuck the bear, man.
John, they did a whole thing on how the impact the bear had on people, like on Shudder. They had a whole breakdown of the bear scene. Yeah.
It's more of my mushroom trip that scared me now. More of the lighthouse scene. Yeah, because I'm not gonna spoil anything, but you know what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah. And of course, A24 just announced Jonathan Demme, director of Silence of the Lambs, like one of the biggest directors maybe ever, is rebooting Stop Making Sense with David Byrne for A24. That's a weird thing for like the 40th anniversary. And of course, the big news coming out of this week, Barbie is now the highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time, beating was it Dark Knight Rises, Bisho?
Dark Knight
Returns? Oh, the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It officially beats the Dark Knight, and Margot Robbie took back ends. This is just unfucking believable smarts on this kid. Before we wrap up, Margot Robbie, we don't know what she technically got paid, but she took back end on Barbie, which because it made the money it made, she's now netting $50 million from her acting performance, not counting. She's also listed as an associate producer. So Margot Robbie just made more money than probably, I mean, I don't know, like that's The Rock, I think got paid something similar for Netflix. So that gives you an idea. And she also has reinstituted that she's still going to be Harley Quinn outside of the Lady Gaga movie as the sequel to the Joker. Wild. I mean, 50 million. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what she could do, guys? She could take that money and buy Last Voyage of the Demeter like 18 times.
Yeah, do them a favor. It's a fucking charity cause.
Yeah. And which also means
tax write-off.
Well, also means she's going to be able to negotiate when they want her to do the sequel. I can only imagine what she's going to ask for that sequel. She deserves it. I like her. I always thought she was great. The people who said she were mid look real dumb. I don't know, Bisho, half of 50 mil. What do you think?
Good for her. Good for her. Because it's like the biggest movie, not of all time, but like one of the biggest movies of the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, easy.
So,
easy.
No, good for her, man. And I've seen some weird takes. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this before we wrap up. I saw someone, I don't know who it was, on Twitter say this should be a lesson to Hollywood. Make, it's so successful. Make more movies about women and women's rights, and it's like, or women's issues. I think people just enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
why don't
it
you
was
just
that
make
heavy.
movies people like? Like that
Yeah.
seems to be working.
Yeah, I think it was just a fun. It had an all-star cast, had a lot of hype. It had famous people in small parts. It had, it had all the right sort of tools there. I like Greta Gerwig. She makes good movies. She knows what the fuck she's doing. It had the budget. I don't know. I think it was just lightning in a bottle. I don't think you're gonna see this again. I don't know, Shah. Like, you still see people dressing up in the movies and all this shit. I mean, people still tweeting about it and shit.
Not so much anymore, but I'm sure it's still, doing decent. But it
Yeah.
definitely was like an actual event though. Like
Yeah.
something like I haven't seen for a long time. But maybe the last like Star Wars movie or some shit did something like that. But
Yeah. And it didn't do that kind of numbers. Look, good for her. I doesn't really interest me. I don't know. And you know what's interesting? I don't have this person's permission, but it's somebody very close to me and my wife, who I just presumed on the surface this would be a movie they loved. My wife told me she was talking to this woman about it, who, again, I don't have her permission, so I don't want to out her. And she told my wife, she was like, did not like it. And my wife was really surprised. She was like, oh, I thought you would have loved it. She was like, yeah, didn't like it. It didn't do anything for me. I don't know why. I have
a lot
no,
of people said it was like a sexist movie, like it shit on men. That's what they
but
didn't
they
like.
said that about men, and that's why I don't listen to it. And I didn't get that at all.
Someone described it. I think it was Brianna Joy Gray on Rising, and she said like the odd irony is like it's supposed to be about Barbie stepping out into the world and trying to become her own woman and something other than just a plaything. But in Barbie Land, all the men live in an apartheid state or something like that, essentially. So it's like,
Yeah.
like with this message, like it's like, but wait a minute, doesn't it make the Barbies the heels of this program? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
without
weird.
seeing it, and also look, I like Margot Robbie. I like Ryan Gosling. I've seen them in good shit. I've seen Ryan Gosling in good fucking shit.
Yeah, he's
Good
done a lot
shit.
of good stuff.
He's got that. Let me tell you, when that dude's all old and gray, you're gonna look at that dude's background, like you're gonna say, like, holy shit, this dude had fucking good chops. And also, I like Greta Gerwig. Like, Will Ferrell. I like people in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. But this thing that people say, and this is what my wife had said, because my wife said she has no interest in it either. She's just like, it doesn't do anything for me. But she was like, but you know what? It's not. She goes, well, it wasn't made for me. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is it made for? Like, everything's made for everybody. I hate that thing when people say it's not made for me. Everything's made for you. How do you know unless you see it? Unless you say, like, I never walked away from something going, oh, it's not made for me. You know what I mean? It's made for you. Trust me. It's made for everybody. The idea is everybody's supposed to see it. I have a feeling we'll all gradually see it and go, yeah, it was fun. It was okay. You know, it's like Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift is fine. I think she's pretty. I think she's a nice kid. I think she handles herself very well in the public eye. But I hear her songs and I go, eh. And then my wife goes, well, they're not for you. I'm like, well, who the fuck are they for? Like, I don't understand. Does she sit down and go, anybody 40 to 55 male, I don't want you to listen to this? Like, it's a dumb thing to say. Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was probably not made for me either. But I guarantee you, if I fucking saw it, I would fucking lose my mind. And I would be like, this was made for me. You know what I mean, Bisho? Like, I just don't like that dialogue when people go, it's not for me.
Yeah, but I get it though, because like there's a lot of people that they make certain movies, and maybe it's not that it's not for everybody, but that their core audience is like women, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know my kid, her and her friends all want to dress as different types of Barbies for Halloween. I mean,
Good.
that's
Your children. That's
yeah.
great. And your son probably wants to go as a turtle, right?
Yeah, he's torn between Mario, a turtle, and Link from
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all three of us think the Mario Brothers movie might have been our favorite movie of the year. Is it not for us? You know what I mean? Like, it's a dumb thing to say. Listen, we got a shit ton to get to over in Patreon. And before we head over to Patreon, I just want to take a special minute for our friend, Joe Punches. I just want to acknowledge our friend Joe Punches. He's very close to us. A lot of you guys are very close with Joe. Some of us have known Joe for years back to the soup. So I just want to give him a very special shout out. I'll talk a little bit about more in Patreon, but I just want to give a special shout out to our good friend there, Joe. And I will discuss a little bit more of this in Patreon because, we have a really tight community there. And Joe has sort of told us we can do that. But I just want to give him a shout out on the free. Let's get to the plugs. Let's plug Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Drew Yari Show. Let's plug Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube. Let's plug the Down Under Thundercast and Don Tony. And of course, Necromaniacs podcast, the Human Experience podcast. Those are our friends over there. Mojo and Dirk's most dastardly show, Garden of Doom. We have Old Guy Metalcast, our good brother Ronald Anderson with funkbetty.com. Shout out to him. Haven't talked to him in a bit. Got to catch up with him soon. MJW Games, and of course, Cherry Jesus on YouTube and his band Kaiser. His album is coming out, people. When it comes out, we'll definitely let you know, and we'll put a link up in our on all of our postings there. And of course, our good buddy Sam at the Red River Podcast and his band Playing Dead. They just released another video. This dude's always cranking out the hits. And of course, Bayou Geeks and our brother Fatty 316, the High Marks Podcast, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, and of course, the Weekly Detour with our good friend Anthony Allison and his good friend Teddy, and the Guns and Geeks Podcast. Shah, what's happening at Planet Mondo?
Honestly, I haven't done much on Planet Mondo. I haven't had much time, but subscribe. I have a decent amount of videos. You can go in the back catalog and check out some stuff until I figure it. I'm thinking about doing a Halloween spirit trip, so I'll probably do that this week.
Oh, wow.
Put that up because one just opened up around me, and I know they have a Mars Attacks limited edition.
You love Mars Attacks.
Yeah, like every year they have themes. I think the last 2 years was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They had like special edition merchandise exclusive to the stores and all that. That was selling out like within the first week. So I want to try to make it. Yeah, this year it's Mars Attacks. So I want to try to make it in there before it sells out. So
wow,
yeah, Planet Mondo, check it out.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, of course, to Planet Mondo, people, if you haven't already.
And if you need some art available for commissions, hit me up Instagram at planet.mondo.
B-Show, what's happening on the B-Show Brian channel?
Not much. I've been like the Dunkin' Donuts guy lately, where I work and then I go to sleep, and then I go to work, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to go to sleep, and I keep working. So it's been a rough 18 months. I'll just say that. But that said, bshowbrian.com, subscribe. I got a bunch of videos up there too. If you want some maybe history type stuff about movies, how they were made, or there's a good one I did that got some praise about the Michael Myers mask, why it's changed over the years and how it all came about. That one got some good press. So there's a couple cool ones like that up there. Go ahead and check it out. bshowbrian.com. And Shah, dude, you're gonna be so tempted to buy that Mars Attacks thing. We just went and saw it. It's fucking awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know they have a bunch of different stuff. I think there's a snow globe that they have. That's the main one that I want.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to be heading over to Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/breaktheapp. We're going to have a really good, interesting show here happening. And whatchamacallit, we're going to be recording our bonus show for the Patreon people this weekend about the soundtracks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you can download my music, Synthetic 16. You want to spell out the 16. I made an album. I made a couple of them. That's a long time ago, but you can check it out. You know, I complain a lot about, I think, girls on those songs, which is weird because I'm a happily married middle-aged guy, but I wasn't when I made the album. So, actually, I probably was. Well, I was cheating a lot, but, you know, we'll save that for another show, maybe one of my solo shows. But we're going to be head over to Patreon. We got a fun show there. Thank everybody for hanging out, and we'll talk to you guys soon next week on Spitball Media Podcast.
Peace.